Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Jan. I'm a business development manager here at ALVAO, and I would like to thank you first of all for taking time of your busy schedules to be here with us and welcome you here. We've got an exciting topic ahead of us because we will have Vaclav from ComAp sharing with us his story about how they implemented single point of contact for all in-company requests. So this brings me to our speakers today. First of all, we have Vaclav in here. Vaclav is Chief Digital Officer at ComAp. He's our main presenter today. And we have Iri Yanku, who is our solution architect here at ALVAO. And my name is Jan, and I'm business development manager here at ALVAO. So before we get to the juicy part, I just wanted to let you know a couple of organizational things. This session will be recorded. We will share the presentation or the recording with you afterwards. We will have 20-minute session followed by Q&A. So if you have any question during the session, just type it in and we will be able to answer these questions afterwards. And it's very important for us to learn and grow. So after the webinar, we will distribute a feedback form, and it would mean a world for us if you can fill that feedback form in and let us know what you liked and disliked. That's it from me, and I will hand this over now to Vaclav from ComAp. It's all yours, Vaclav.
All right, thank you, and hello. So I'd like to tell you a story about how we use ALVAO in ComAp and how it helped us to grow our business over past 7 years or so. So first, let me introduce myself. So I work in ComAp for last almost 8 years now. Before that, I worked for 2 large enterprises. I worked in DHL. I don't have to introduce the company, everyone knows them. And before that, I worked over 10 years for Merck Sharp & Home, which is another international company in the pharmaceutical industry. And for them, actually, I worked most of the time in Belgium, in Brussels. So I have some international experience as well. Personally, about myself, I like sporting. I have 2 kids, a daughter and son. They are 19 and 22 years old, so they're adults studying abroad. I like photography. Home automation is my big hobby. So this is just off topic, but if you want to find me, you can find my channel on the YouTube, where I have a YouTube channel about home automation. This is my passion as well. Now, back to ComAp. How did we evolve over those 8 years I'm in here? Let me first tell you about who ComAp is, because to give you the right context for what I'm going to tell you. So ComAp is a global company with over 500 employees right now, making roughly 100 million euro turnover. We have subsidiaries around the globe in 13 subsidiaries and growing. We have subsidiaries all over the world, from Australia through Asia, Africa, Europe, Americas and Canada. Our newest subsidiary is in Johannesburg in South Africa. What we do is we do energy management. So you will find us in microgrid and renewables. We deliver control solution for backup power generations, for data centers, for oil fields, for companies producing combined heat and power, in events where people need to produce reliable energy in agriculture. And our service is not only control systems, but also cloud solutions for managing them remotely, which is bringing me to the IT topic, because this is where we were participating a long time on delivering this service. Our customers are usually producers of those power sources, so either gensets or lately hybrid or solar panels or wind turbines and so on, system integrators, rental companies, and the end users. So enough about ComAp. Let me tell you a little bit about our digital office and how did we change from information technology to a digital office. So how do we change from a technology department into a business driven digital transformation team. So when I came to ComAp in 2015, the IT team was managing mainly infrastructure. So we managed computers for the people, things like Active Directory, Exchange, shared drives. For that, we didn't have any service management tool, so we managed all the requests by email, or people often came personally. We were keeping the list of all the assets and all the requests in Excel and an email, shared email list. And the business services in the company, they were done by the individual business units or areas or countries. For collaboration, they were often using personal clouds, Dropbox or Google Cloud. So this is how the company looked like in 2015. Now, if you compare it to how we look now, we have managed to, I must say, become a strategic business partner for business. And I think one thing which we have done great, I think, is we have took the advantage of where we were in 2015. So the services were managed by the business, and we basically said we're not gonna stop that. We will actually have all the services managed by the individual business units, but we will integrate them and provide them with the governance and consistent framework through the IT. So, for example, CRM is managed by the person in the sales team. In R&D, there is a person taking care of all the R&D tools and so on. So we have also sourcing model, which is based on outsourcing quite a bit. We have quite a few strategic areas which we have decided to insource, mainly architecture. Security is one of the key components as well, because we have very aggressive cloud strategy. We do not have any data center anymore. We host everything in the cloud. So security is definitely very important. And we digitalized quite a lot of business processes, from the customer relationship management into the ERP. We have the R&D tools that we use for development of our services, collaboration services, obviously. And one of those digital services that we have is the ALVAO service desk, which allowed us to digitalize the interaction with the users. Now, where do we benefit from the ALVAO? What is the role of ALVAO in ComAp? Let me switch to the live demo of our ALVAO, so to illustrate what I'm talking about, to show you rather than tell you. So this is our ALVAO. In the background, you can see this is our headquarters here in Holešovice in Prague. And one of the first things we have done is ALVAO. We wanted to make sure we have the asset management managed through the tool. So I could see here, this is actually my actual assets I have. I have a cell phone, computer, and a monitor, and then I have some other assets that are allocated to some of the contractors that we have in our team. So this is the asset management, which allows us to essentially have a complete inventory of all the assets, and there are workflows linked to that. When the people are onboarded, they actually there is a form which I'm going to show you in a second, where the hiring managers ask for those assets to be acquired and allocated to the people, and then when the people come, they electronically confirm through a workflow that they accept the equipment, and then it follows them through the whole life cycle of those devices. And at the end, when they actually leave our company, there is again automated workflow to confirm that we get those assets back. So we have an overview what's happening to those assets throughout their life cycle, including what different versions of operating system and patch levels they have. So this is asset management. The other important part we have in ALVAO is knowledge management. So there is a knowledge base where we have all the knowledge objects about all the repetitive things and how to working instructions for people, how to do certain things. They are defined there. And in fact, when people search for a solution, when they have their problem, they can type their problem, and the knowledge base will hopefully give them the solution. So they will have like the self help, and they can get help instantly. The main part of what I would like to show you today is the ticketing system which we have, and this is the interface to our tickets. Now, as you can see, looking on the screen, we do not use ALVAO only for digital office or only for IT. There are things like facility management, where people can get in and they can, for example, get when they want to see a customer, they can ask to have a pool car available for them. So the reception will prepare it for them. Speaking of reception, they can ask to have a large meeting with customers. They can ask for some catering services for refreshment. They can book a taxi. They can get mail services and so on. So this is one of the areas which we use ALVAO for, so the facility management. Then we use it for other departments as well. And I was thinking about why it was so easy to get ALVAO spread across all of those different departments. And I think partially this is because, as I mentioned, we support IT from the service owners and business application owners from different departments. And this actually naturally, because they're used to those tools, that actually, I think, makes it easier for them to adopt the same tool to be used in all practical departments inside the company. So one of them is R&D, where they use it to update documentation or ask for changing our documentation for our products for customers. Usage of products. If R&D they want to rent a product to check something from the warehouse, so they will bring it from our logistics center back to Prague, so they can work in it. They can request it throughout in here. One of the bigger teams that use ALVAO is HR, and I'd like to actually show you, and I promised that I will show you one of the workflows, which is for employee onboarding. And when I click on that, there is a customized form which is going to trigger a workflow that is going to make sure that when we get a new colleague, that we get everything prepared for them in time. The form is on ALVAO is integrated with a number of systems. One of them is our HRIS, which is the SAP Success Solutions. So there is an integration to make it easier and consistent. So this whole workflow kicks in when we get a personal number provided by the HR team that the person has been hired, and we need to start preparing for onboarding. And the person will get allocated the personal number by the HR system. So we can fill it in, and then we push this button and it will load all the information about the person, including start date and first name and department and so on. So then the hiring manager, they can start populating the form by creating different permissions, which is going to be used for the IT team to create an account and assign him with different roles in different applications for the person, so they can start working when they come. The other part is that the person is going to we're gonna allocate or buy for him a computer. We have different set of standard computers that the person can get. If they need monitor, yes or no, if they need access to the building, telephone, and so on. So I'm not going to go through all of those, but there is all kind of information we need for assigning licenses, permissions, or assets. So this is, I think, quite useful workflow. If we submit this form.
Sorry, Vaclav.
Yep.
May I jump in? I was just curious, how did this process look like before you had this in place?
That's a great question, because when we submit this form right now, it's going to result in creating tasks for a number of different people in HR, in facility management to prepare the desk, in IT to create the accounts, give permissions, and so on. Before we had that, we had to everything do manually through either email or talking to people, or we could use different collaboration tool. But the issue with that was if we were small, that was working fine. But now we're getting over 100 new colleagues every year, and with every single person repeating this process, sometimes things go wrong. You know, we forget that the person is coming 2 months after they are hired, or we were talking to someone and they in HR and they might leave in the meantime, or they might go for holiday. So we forget, and person appears on the reception, and we kind of figured that we didn't prepare for them to come. So obviously we were doing our best not to do it, but it's much easier and much more relaxing to do it now that we have this reliable workflow that ensures that we have this great service for the colleagues. What is important for us, obviously, everyone knows now the situation with the on the job market, that it's not easy to find new colleagues. So we want to obviously make a nice impression for the new colleagues. So this is one of the evaluations when we ask people, the new colleagues, what do they think about ComAp after the end of the trial period. They usually say that they appreciated the ease and professionalism, how the experience when they come, everything was ready for them, and they even get a nice package, welcoming package from Marcom, which is one of the tasks. They get, I don't know, bar of chocolate, nice bottle with ComAp logo on it. So this helps to create this very nice experience for the new colleagues and helps us to retain new employees. So this is one of the good examples of how we use ALVAO in ComAp. We obviously have all of those IT tools and applications there as well, IT services, where we can report incidents or requests, and we manage change management and problem management through that as well. But not only in ALVAO. I'd like to come back to my presentation and talk a bit about the integrations, because we integrate ALVAO with a number of different tools. One of them is the HRIS. I already spoke about it. Obviously, there is an integration with Active Directory, so we use single sign-on for ALVAO, so the people do not have to remember different passwords for ALVAO. They use their regular computer account for that. It's integrated through our integration backbone to ERP for a number of reasons, but also one of the bigger integrations is with Azure DevOps, which we use for managing our development of our applications. And I have a picture of that, so I'm going to show you a bit later. One of the other integrations I have, and for that I actually have a live demo here as well, I think, it's the reporting that we do in Power BI. And actually what you're looking at is our historical Power BI report that we have created quite some time ago. Nowadays, ALVAO have their ready out-of-the-box reporting in Power BI, which looks slightly different, but we still use this one because we are used to it and we have it for historical reasons. But their Power BI report is in many aspects actually nicer, but what we use here, it's currently meeting our expectations. We're actually thinking and looking forward to move to the standard package going forward. And we use the reporting to form. What is important for me is to follow the trends more than SLAs, whether we are resolving tickets fast enough, which is interesting information, obviously. But it's probably more interesting if you are delivering services to our customers and you have SLA and penalties and whatnot. But for internal IT, for me, it's much more interesting to see the trends. Is the number of incidents or requests growing or decreasing? What are the trends? And if it's growing, what is the reason why the incidents are growing? What is causing them? Can I find out by area where they're coming from, or from geography, or from root cause. What is causing them? Is it perhaps that users do not understand something and they keep asking, can we do something about it? Can we maybe improve training or documentation to eliminate those tickets? Because my primary goal is to have less incidents. The fact that we resolve them quickly is nice, but I would much rather not have them in the first place. So this is why we're also looking at the backlog. So this is what is the number of services that are, is that overall number of services that we have open throughout the months growing or decreasing. I see that in the last 2 months there is some growth, so I need to look at that, see where it's coming from. And I know for those ones there was some deployments in some additional areas which was causing this, so we have this under control, but this gives me a possibility to address that. We look at the support and the SLA. Customer satisfaction is important part as well. For this one, actually, ALVAO has much nicer report than we have, but we were really looking at the satisfaction of users when they close the tickets. They get option to answer how satisfied they are with the overall resolution of the ticket, and that they can provide some feedback if they are not happy or if they are happy. But if they are not happy, what went and what can we improve? And this is why we can actually check it out and we can see their feedback directly, and then we can see, okay, so there was maybe some feedback. I requested something, but I get something slightly different, so we can follow it up and make sure it doesn't happen in the future. So this is the reporting.
Maybe if I can ask here, Václav, how does this particular piece with the employee satisfaction, you know, how it helps you with the decision making in the overall IT management and upcoming changes that you are planning for the team?
This whole reporting and the satisfaction as well helps me to focus to the areas that are important. So it helps me to find out where there are issues and address them. Because obviously, as the company grows, it's much more difficult to know about everything. Obviously, I walk across the corridors and talk to people, but this gives me a tool to have some data-driven decisions to be able to see, okay, so where the issues are coming from. Are they people unhappy in certain area? Why they are unhappy? Can we improve it? Can we make them more happy? Because this is my purpose in this company, to make people happy, right?
Okay.
So this helps me quite a bit. Also, I already said it, but I'm going to repeat it. For me, it's very important to see the trends. So I'd like the trends to be improving. If the trends are not improving but worsening, that I'd like to really have it under control and understand why and address it and bring it back on track. Did I answer the question?
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. So, and the last piece, the integration I have here is again a live example from our integration with DevOps that we use for development of our services. So we have an integration. As you can see, this is actually coming from DevOps, and those titles, they are coming from ALVAO. As you see, there's the SD hash number. So these are the ALVAO tickets that created those bugs or change requests in DevOps automatically. And the reason why we use DevOps and we don't do it in ALVAO is because, as you can see on the left side, the DevOps gives us a lot of tools from storing the artifacts. So when we do the development, it will actually save them in there. There is repositories. We use CI/CD with continuous integration, continuous development with, and we trying to implement things like infrastructure as a code, where in the repositories we have the prescriptions for deployment of those services in different departments. So they're all in one repository. There are those, speaking of CI/CD, there are those pipelines that automate testing, automate deployment, different environments. There is test plans where we really, this is one of the big, I think, benefits of what achievements, I would rather say, that we, for all of our applications, we create upfront test plans that will describe the steps that the users have to perform during the user acceptance testing, and they follow this test plan. And if the application responds differently than what is prescribed in the test plan, it will automatically create in the DevOps a bug, and it will be then followed to the developers, and it will be then included in the release plan, and again tested obviously before that again. And we have this tool. We actually have as a standard tool that we use for all of our services and applications across all the vendors. So this is one of the conditions. If we have a vendor that would like to work with us, we actually require that they use that. So benefit of that obviously also is, because we have those repos and artifacts in one place under our control, this prevents us from getting into vendor lock. So if we decide that we would like to change the vendor for whatever reason, or the vendor decides that they would like to change us, we will keep all the intellectual property, all the source code, all the history of everything that happened under our control. So we wouldn't have to deal with, how do we get all the information back from the supplier, and how do we, worried about we're going to lose some information and lose speed and lose momentum. This gives us quite a good position to be in if you are in outsourcing business quite a bit, and if you run cloud services. So I think that's all for me. Yes, it is.
Thank you, Václav. It was a brilliant presentation. So one of the things that Václav showed us was how they integrate ALVAO into their infrastructure, and Microsoft specifically. To have a deeper look at this particular part, we also have a brief session where Jiri will show us our Outlook integration. So it's all yours, Jiri, now.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to show you Outlook add-in, which is actually one of the most beloved features of our tool. Because let's be honest, there are different channels, but email is definitely still the most prevalent, and there are some challenges that come with it. So we just want to make sure that our users and agents are happy, and they don't have to do any work that is not necessary. So you can see my inbox right now, and on the right side, this is our Outlook add-in. I can, decide to not to show it, or it can be automated based on the item that is selected. So the first scenario is that it shows me the tickets based on the IDs. So this is actually email that was sent to my inbox from an existing ticket. So there is already an ID here. So the ticket is displayed right here. So when I switch to different one, it's automatically refreshed to different ticket. I have all the features here. So this is actually really simple, like iframe application. And if I want to, open it in a new window in a browser, I can do it in a variety of ways. For example, like this. So this is actually the same detail, only wider. So this is the how it works. So the idea is that you see the context right away. You don't have to copy the ID to open it in your ticketing tool and so on. So yeah, there is no loss of focus here. And the different perspective is actually, an email comes to your inbox, but there is no ID yet. So either it's your users that really like you, and historically you have helped them, so they still decide to contact you directly, even though there is the self-service portal, or it could be your vendor or any announcement that you think it's actionable. So you just create a ticket out of it. So on the right side, where I select such email without ID, I can see the last communication with the sender, latest viewed request by me. So I can actually select one of them. But I have this option as well to create a new one out of it. So it actually, I can change the requester for Veronica, for example, and I will just structure this ticket into specific service within the service catalog. So let's say someone is, starting some BI exercise, but I know that we have a special flow for that and a responsibility. So I just want to put it back on track. So I will just select, let's say this is a Dynamics 365 report. Someone is sharing dataset with me, but I know that we have a special service for that or request template. So I will just click OK here to just categorize the ticket, triggering different flow, different responsibilities, and so on. I can also change the name. And I will just click OK. So the ticket is created. I can, assign it to me or to someone else and just delete the email. And as you can see, there are, the detail is really like what you see is what you get. So it's exactly the same. Looks exactly the same one-to-one as in the email itself. So, and I also can do the same to, update existing email. So let's say existing ticket. So that was one option to create new one, but I can also, search for the specific ticket and then upload it to it. So I can just, as an example, just update this ticket as well. So you can see this feature is here as well. It doesn't make sense to do it on the specific this ticket, but the feature is the same. So it's here twice now. So this is the features for inbox, but I will show you also the features for my calendar view. So this is what my calendar actually looks like. So there are the ticket IDs. You can see them pretty clearly at the beginning. So let's say so this makes like perfect sense to just the same, like selecting existing one, showing the ticket here, and I can just open it in a new window and so on. But let's say there was a meeting about this topic and we need to follow up on that. So I will just select specific time slot in my calendar, like for tomorrow. I will select which ticket I want to work on. So let's see this one. And I'm able to, create a new meeting out of it. So these are the items, outlooks items, the types. So I can just select, I want to create new meeting. I can invite Veronica. This is just Outlook stuff. I will just send the email or send the event, and directly in this time slot I selected, this is positioned. So yeah, I actually cannot imagine working without it. So I show you the features for the inbox part, showing the context for existing tickets, uploading to existing ticket, and also creating new one, and the same for the calendar to show you this context. So you don't have to prepare for the meeting a lot, or actually you don't have to copy the ID and search it in your ticketing portal, and also like creating new items from it, like this meeting I just did. Okay, so this is for me, and back to your studio, Jan.
Thank you, Yuri. So this pretty much brings us back to that Q&A session. So we have now space for your questions. And the first question I'm reading is actually for both of you. So I'm going to ask first Václav specifically for ComAp case, and then Yuri in general. And the question was regarding that part when you showed us, Václav, the employee onboarding and the form. So the question was whether it only creates tasks for specific teams and members, or whether there are some automated flows connected with it. So I'm curious how it is in ComAp, and then I will ask the same here in general.
Right. So we didn't automate it currently, automated creation of. But I think the accounts are created automatically, but these assigning permissions and assigning licenses, we didn't automate it. That creates task for the help desk people that do that. Again, given the size of our company, we have 500 people, so the automation of license management is something which we're thinking about, but I don't think we're big enough to have like a very robust solution for that yet.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And if you can answer the same question, just more in general, what are the options with ALVAO?
In general, we have some like application templates, so something like a store, like predefined, custom automated actions or buttons and so on. So anything that cannot be done in configuration. And maybe even more general, we have a powerful REST API. So if you want to integrate to ALVAO for something that we don't have ready yet, you have the possibilities to automate the tickets and the assets as well, and changing the configuration database automatically from VMware infrastructure or something like that to have the data real time right, so you can rely on it in ALVAO. So we want to be the front end that gathers all the data and is practical for the agents and users, but some of the data are primarily in different systems, so this is just the case.
Thank you for that. Then I have a more general IT management question for you, Václav. So you implemented pretty much the ITSM processes sort of to the whole company. How did the implementation of these processes and the service catalog differed? When you showed us the facility part or other parts than IT from the IT implementation.
Right. So yeah. So good one. I have. We use ALVAO in different teams, not only in IT, but I think the difference is in IT we have a little bit more formal processes with the service management, change management, problem management. We follow the ITIL much more strictly. The other departments, like on the reception, when someone asks to order some catering, they wouldn't follow the same ITSM processes for that. Obviously, it's more like okay, they need a way to request something and they're gonna get it, but they wouldn't have this whole sophisticated process around that.
So in the end, it's like a simple process probably. And now you showed us the catalog, and it's quite robust, quite nice. Still, they probably want to contact you through different channels as well. So what are the other venues how your employees contact IT department in this case?
This is actually, there's a discussion about the topic, how far or whether we should enforce the users to use ALVAO, and if they do not go through ALVAO, but I don't know, stop you on the corridor or walk in, whether we should force them to create tickets first or not. And different companies might have a different approach. In our company, we have decided not to play the bad cops and not to really enforce people to do it and tell them we're not going to help you unless you log a ticket. We're not doing it. So we recommend using ALVAO because people get benefits, and we also need to have all the information entered in the ALVAO anyhow. So when they come through email or Teams or they walk in, we will create ticket for them anyhow, because we need to have all the information in. So the different parts of the organization that are participating on resolution of the request, they all share the same information, and we will have under control that the request is not lost somewhere and it's dealt with in timely manner, and we actually know that we are addressing what was really requested, so we kind of do not forget somewhere in the content what was the actual request. So, but we do not force people to. We don't tell them we're not going to help you until you log a ticket. We don't do that. Some companies might.
Yeah, it's a big debate, and like the Teams add-in and Outlook add-in are there to help to use those channels effectively as well. Then there's a bit more technical question. So this is probably for you, Iri, and this is regarding the part where you showed the creation of the ticket in the Outlook add-in. So the question was whether this can be linked with an asset database in Dynamics 365. So perhaps again, maybe general questions about the APIs and integrations.
Yeah, the integrations that we have there, like out of the box, is the integration with of our service desk to our asset management. So there are synergies that are there. But we are possible to use different asset management as well if necessary. and the integration means is what I described before. So we would just define the scope, what is actually needed to be in an asset management as well, and just source the data from via the REST API to be in our asset management, which would be the which would enable all the integrations we have there.
I might add to it. We actually, and this is there is a Tomáš Kopecký who's actually on this meeting, who was actually the one who actually started with this asset management in ComAp. So thank you, Tomáš. He's not with us anymore, but he joined the meeting. So we have decided not to fully integrate the asset management to our dynamics for finance and operations. We thought about it, but for practical reasons, when we do the inventory, and we do inventory through ALVAO, so when we do the inventory and we would find out that for whatever reason the for example, monitor wasn't, or asset, whatever asset was not found at the place where it was supposed to be. Perhaps someone moved it somewhere. If we would have it fully integrated in Dynamics, it would just say, okay, so asset wasn't there, and it will automatically trigger a financial process that, okay, asset, it will be written off because it's been lost and it's not there. And what we would like to do instead is we would like to basically say, okay, so we haven't found this asset, let's find out, maybe someone took the whatever chair, table, monitor and put it somewhere else. Let's see if we can find it somewhere. And if we do, then it will be quite hard to acquire the asset back in the Dynamics, because once something is written off in the financial system, it's quite hard to put it back in. And so this was the reason why we didn't want to fully integrate it. So it creates a differential report, so we know which are the things which are missing, and then the finance people, they will just go through it, they will follow up on it, and if they really find out that there are things that are lost, they will write them off. But they'd like to have this intermediate step of checking it, and maybe related to the size of our company again. We are not, if we were 50,000 people, maybe we'll automate it a little bit more.
That makes sense. So thank you both for the answers. And this actually is all the time we have allocated for today's webinar. So I'm just gonna thank you all for joining, for attending. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out via LinkedIn or any other channel. And definitely follow ALVAO on LinkedIn to stay tuned for future events. And thank you for attending. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.